Yo, what's up ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ndifon Ntui. On this channel I make some tutorials. I post new videos on Monday, Wednesday and on Saturdays. If you like what I do here, make sure to give my videos a like. If you have not subscribed already, like 44% of you haven't, make sure to do so. Alright, if you are a beginner or if you're a person to brush up on your skills, I offer online courses. I'll be showing a demo on how to make a jumpsuit for you to watch, so you decide if learning online will be convenient for you. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. I will see you on the next video, but first enjoy this video. Bye bye. Alright, you're welcome to this video. This video is a continuation of the video that we made on Wednesday, where I showed how to draft the corsets that we are working on. So if you've not seen that part of the video, then it'd be best to see that before you go ahead to watch this, or don't click out of the video, just watch this, but make sure you see that as well. So these are the patterns that we have. I'm going to use these patterns to cut my fabric and my lining. Alright, I would make alterations, like I said in the last video. Inside the curve here, I'm going to add ½ inch of allowance to make sure that you do that. But for the other sides, I'm not going to add any allowance. Around all the sides of the cup that I carved out, that I drafted, sorry, I'm going to add ½ inch around all sides on the 3 pieces that we have that are meant for the bust. So I'm going to cut the fabric, then use that to cut the lining, meaning that there will be no difference in the pattern between the fabric and the lining. When I'm done cutting, I'm going to iron interfacing onto the fabric but not the lining. So let me go ahead to cut this out. Alright, so as I said, I have gone ahead to cut the lining as well. The lining is basically going to be the same pattern you would cut for your fabric, being that you've adjusted your fabric with ½ inch in the bust and yeah, ½ inch around your pattern up there, like I said I would. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to iron interfacing onto all sides of my fabric. So on the front, on both sides of the back, and on all the 6 sides that make up both sides of the bust. Okay, so first place we're going to start with is the bust. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to join these sides together. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to iron this part here flat. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do first. Okay, so after I have ironed it flat, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stitch my bias on top of it. Alright, so now you pick out the top part. Alright, so here it's going to go on top of here. I'm going to stitch this part to the lining, but the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch from here all the way to the other side. Alright, so I'm going to head back to my sewing machine and I'm going to spread and iron the inner part. Around the curve here, I'm going to make notches so that it lays smoothly before I iron it. Alright, I'll be back so we stitch the bias on top of here. Okay, so after I have stitched the lining like I did the fabric, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to tack this part down. So you see this part here, you're going to bring it half inch down, like I'm doing now. Bring it down by half an inch and just tack it. Keep half inch away from the edge. Make a small stitch here just to hold it in place. Do the same thing in the middle and at the other side, that's here. So one small tack here, a little here and a little here. Now, after you are done with that, you are going to join the fabric and the lining together, the front side facing the front side at the top. You are going to make your stitch to run just at the top of your bra cup, not on top of your bra cup. Alright, so now after that has been done, I want you to top stitch on top of here. Make sure that it is smooth at the front and at the back, and I want you to make a top stitch on top of here. Now after you've joined it together like so, the next thing we're going to do is I want you to straighten out your fabric over your bra cup. Make sure that you use it to cover the bra cup and you straighten out all your wrinkles as you are stitching around. I'm now going to stitch the fabric and the lining together, but I will leave the rough side facing outside like this. Okay, but I will not step on the bra cup at all. Now let me go ahead to place my bias in all the places I'm supposed to. So one in the center. I'm going to place one at this point we just notched, from here coming towards the center, and then I'll come 1 inch after that and I'll place one going straight down. So let me do that. Alright, so after stitching this side, I did the same thing this side, and then just watch me fix the bra cup nice and easy. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to give this a good press all around here. Next thing I'm going to do is after I've ironed this, is I'll bring the lining so that we can use the lining to turn the rough work on this side before we do anything else. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce the lining into this. First thing I'm going to do with lining is I'm going to keep a space from the edge. I'll not start from the very beginning. I'll start from probably 2 inches after the edge, and I'll sew from here all the way to the other side. So let's go. So as you can see, the first thing I did was to finish all the flat edges first before I'm now going to go ahead to finish the round side. I did that by sewing, you see this front side facing, I stitched from the front side of the lining. Now you're going to simply pick these two up, keep them like this, and stitch around the bust. Alright, I'll simply repeat the same thing I just did on the other side of the bra cup. That's on the rough side. I've turned the side, it's left with this. Alright, so that next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to simply stitch around the edges of the bra cup. That would hold our rough work in one place and help us smoothen this down some more before I introduce the back. Alright, before we bring the back, let me stuff the front with the boning that I have. So what we are going to do is this. You are going to push the boning in from the bottom, and when you are done, you are going to cut it to become half an inch shorter than the length of your bodice. So you see this, I'm going to push it in all the way. I've gotten to the top at that point. See this, I'm going to lift my fabric in by half an inch, and I'm going to cut it. This is so that when you are This is so that when you are attaching your lining, when you're stitching your lining in place, okay, when you're stitching your lining, when you're joining your lining to your fabric, the boning will not interfere with your lining. That's why you do that. So I'm going to go ahead to stuff all the other parts that I have and cut it shorter by 1/2 inch, just like I have done the center, and then we'll handle the back. Alright, so now for the next step, to place your darts, what you're going to do is you're going to lay your pattern on top like I have done, okay, and then you're going to come to where you marked for your darts to be, and then you make a knot at that point. And then the next thing we're going to do, you're going to come to the point that you marked to be the deepest point, and you're going to simply use your chalk to mark that part. Alright, and then transfer it to all the other sides of your fabric. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to join both sides. So you see where I have this line here, okay, the angle, that's the part that's meant to be joined to the front. So remember I kept 1 inch of sewing allowance, so I'm going to join 1 inch now. I will also do the same thing to the other side as well. Alright, I just joined the lining on this side. I'll join the lining on the other side as well, and then after that we'll fix the bone inside there, and then we're going to do the zipper, or whichever one I decide to do first. Alright, so now I'm going to simply attach my zipper to both sides of the back before I attach I use the lining to cover everything I have done so far. So you see this is the front of the zip. I'll place it facing down, I'll move it in by 2 inches, and I'll keep a space of 1/2 inch at the bottom so that the zipper is not too close to the edge. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn everything back to where I stopped stitching before. Remember, when we're stitching the back up, we didn't start from the beginning, so you need to continue from there all the way into the zipper allowance. You see me do that now. Make sure to keep both of your edges flat like so. Let's go. Before you seal the bottom part, remember to fit your boning into the back as well, for as many places as you put your bias. Okay, so make sure not to forget this. Then you turn it back to the other side, that's back inside, and then also stitch the bottom as well. Okay, so I'm going to stitch 1/2 inch from here all the way to the other side. After you have sealed the bottom, you're going to seal one side of your zipper allowance completely. So you see this here, this is the line that you use to install your zipper. Try to stitch as close to it as possible. 1/2 inch away from it will be fine. Run from here all the way up. On the other side, I'll turn out from there and show you how to finish it. Alright, so you see it's clean everywhere. Make sure that I'm going to go over and iron this one very smooth. What the only part now that we have to cover up is here. So simple, simply just push everything in like this and top stitch, or push everything like this, iron it and top stitch. See this? Or if you don't want, you could use hemming gum, put in between it and iron, and everything is going to lay flat. You see that? You can do that Alright, so as you can see, I have fixed my sleeve on this side. Now, I made this sleeve in a previous video. My video on how to sew a bustier crop top, I fixed this sleeve. So it's quite easy. Elastic at the top, elastic at the bottom. If you don't know how to do this, I would suggest to see that video. I took my time there, so I don't have to spend time on it again. So if you don't know how to do it, check my video on how to sew a bustier with elastic sleeve, a crop top bustier. But what I did for the length was I measured 15 inches from the edge. 15, that's the length of the sleeve. As for the width, I used the entire length of the Ankara. So Ankara usually comes in 45, so that's what I used. If you have watched this far, so I'm going to go ahead to make some clip and fix that. If you watched this far, thank you. I would see you in the next video. Let me finish this off nicely. This is already like to 5, right? And I have to post this video before the end of the day, and I've never edited it. So, but anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye bye.